Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. We're just on the channel Megalithia Mania UK again. I think I mentioned the channel. Talking about British giants, giants of England and Wales and Scotland, etc. Back in the day, and historical accounts of giants, things like that. So we're still on the giant topic here. Another video by them here, Top 10 Giants of Ancient Britain, revealing 10 amazing skeletons from prehistory. So, I'd mentioned a few times, and in fairness, I kind of mocked. I said it was one of my ex-birds, cracks and her dad's, and I talk of this St. Bees giant. I've spoke of many times, to be honest. I've been to St. Bees. There was talk of being a giant shield and a giant sword in St. Bees. But it's not there now. That was sort of the rumor, and again, but it came from like my expert and her dad, and I didn't know if it was any truth in it or not. But that was the rumor that there was a giant of St. Bees, and then there was a talk in the other videos of were the saints, and Saint Christopher was mentioned if you watch the rest of the video, and were the saints giants, and there was a bit of a historical record for some of the saints being giants. So St. Bees, it's a town not far from myself, a little village on the sea, very nice. Got two nice pubs, a hotel, beach. Been there before on multiple videos, I think. Be on the channel. Yeah, I went to the abbey, the church, not long ago in a video not long ago, and we seen again the guy dug up in a lead coffin, 600 years old apparently. Which again, that's the kind of putting the timeline right, where we're thinking the timeline's wrong, but them saying that this guy's 600-year-old and this. So I don't know about this historical timeline whether it's right or wrong. Do you know what I mean? Some things kind of fit in, but then some things don't, and I don't know. So anyway, we've been to St. Bees before. We've seen St. Bees. We've seen the church. Yada yada yada. Um, there was talk of a giant of St. Bees, as I've mentioned, and a giant shield and a giant sword that was there at one time. So I was watching this video here, the top 10 giants of ancient Britain, and number 3 is St. Bees Cumbria giant. So we're going to have a listen to the St. Bees Cumbria giant here. How long is it? It's only about 2 minutes long, but again, mentioning the actual giant, I found something on it. It's very strange. You kind of think something and want to know something when you get in this world of trying to find out the truth. And often doors are opened for you. It's, again, complete chance that I watched this video. I could have watched any other video, and I just made a video, and again, usually I have a listen through just to see I haven't fucked it up in some way, and I haven't listened to my last video yet. I just clicked on this for some reason, and it ended up coming up here with the St. Bees Giant, so a bit of fate there maybe or something. So let's see what the St. Bees Giants got to be said here. Would you fucking believe it? Would you believe it? A fucking advert. So my goal, learn English. Well, fucking just piss off back to your own country. That's what fucking the English think. Piss off back to your own country. We've got enough of yous. We've got enough of yous of all nationalities, of all colours, of all creeds. We've got enough of yous. So let's move on to the giants.
Number 3. This is a place called St. Bees in Cumbria, where a 13-foot 6-inch skeleton.
Right, hold on a minute here. 13-foot 6-inch skeleton. 13-foot 6-inch. This is right on my fucking doorstep. Do you know that? Like right on my fucking doorstep. It's amazing what you don't know. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing. What you don't know could fill a house. So yeah, 13-foot 6 inches. Now that's a giant. Like I've spoken in previous videos. I'm not a big fan of saying sort of 7-foot people are giants. Maybe when you're ranging to 8 and 9 and 10, yes. 13 foot's a fucking giant. I mean, it's double. It's double the size of a normal man. You know what I mean? 6 foot, 6 foot, 6 foot times 2 is 12. 13 foot 6. So this is double the size of a normal man. This is a giant, like an actual giant. 13-foot 6 inches, apparently, according to this. So that is definitely a giant. Let's just establish that that is definitely a fucking giant here. So there was rumours of the St. Bees giant. I've never have thought I would have got a 13 foot sixer. To be honest, again, I would be ranging in the eights or nines, and in the realms of it is quite big. But 13 foot fucking six is a giant. So let's have some more of this.
Was unearthed in the early 1800s by a certain Hugh Hodson. And he found this when he was
Right, Hugh Hodson in the 1300, 18, early 80s. What I mean, I've said this before. All this stuff's been dug up before we got here, especially in England. Well, even in America, to be fair. It's all been dug up. Although we could still find a lot of stuff if you dig down. Again, if the whole flood crack's true, and we've been covered in a layer of flood, we could all dig down and find quite a lot of stuff, to be honest. And people have, to be fair, like Roman coins, etc. Especially in my area, there was a guy who found a big haul of Roman coins. So people have dug down and found stuff. So again, metal detecting, it's not a bad idea, to be honest. You're not going to get bones with metal detection though, but digging down, you can probably find quite a lot of interesting stuff. So this is what I'm talking about here. We've got a Spatria, 7 foot, where Keswick, 7 foot, Westmoreland, 7 foot. So it doesn't say the furnace size there, but St. Bees, 13 foot 6. So all these 7 foots are here or there for me, you know what I mean? I'm always a bit like, they're big, but they're not really giants. 13 foot is a fucking giant. So yeah, there was talk of the St. Bees giant, as I've mentioned, and here we have some sort of historical record of sorts of it. And again, 13 foot 6. This is a literal giant.
digging up local cornfields in this area, and it had full armor. It had a huge sword. Again, it had an axe and everything else associated with it. And it was described in great detail. And the finds were apparently distributed between the local kind of populace. So what happened to it, we don't know. But in this area,
Right. So the local populace of this area. Well, apparently the sword and the shield. There was a shield as well. Apparently they were in the church in St. Bees for quite a long time. That was literally the rumor that I heard originally. They were in that church for a long time, but obviously they're not there now because I've been there recently, and that's partly why I went, to be honest. That was half of why I went. The other half was because we've seen that video of the guy that had been found in the lead coffin. But that was always in my mind about the giants as well, and this giant sword and shield, because we're often looking at the giants. But apparently it was in there for a long time, but obviously it's gone. It's been covered up, and again, the people who kind of knew about this are all dead. So, but somebody somewhere knows, definitely, because these items will still exist somewhere, but they're not in the church. So, yeah, apparently found in a field, so I mean, so like just digging the ground up, you could reveal quite a fucking lot of stuff. But then this giant wasn't that far down, apparently, if he's just digging up a field. So, I mean, again, kind of just a flood and a layer of silt, and you know what I mean, on top here. So it all kind of fits together again, and the flood wasn't that long ago, possibly. Yeah, but 13 foot 6 inches found in a field again. Apparently, the sword and shield was in the church for some time. That's where the original rumor that I heard that all this come about from. But yeah, this is the tale.
area we find many, many stories, and we'll find that number one is actually from the northern part of Britain. So this seems to be where some of the tallest giants that we've uncovered actually exist.
Once again, this account is obscurely buried in a journal that was never known about, that we dug into and we found, just like in the American story of giants as well. They're not on the front page, New York Times, although there were some of them. This isn't headline grabbing information. This is extremely buried in these documents with genealogies and surveyors' remarks.
And the thing is, it was a very different time. It was a very, very different time back then. There was no social media or news or any of this kind of thing. You know what I mean? You've got to put yourself in the time that all this was happening. And it wasn't today. It wasn't even the 1980s. Like there wasn't phones. There wasn't all this kind of technology. There was literally nothing. To get a message to London, you probably had to travel to London. Do you know what I mean? So it's a very, very different time, and this again, stuff can be lost to history back then very, very easily, as many things are, and the ultimate proof of that is that like loads of stuff are. I mean, my last video was about the Cumbrian uh, pike, dreg pike, or whatever the fuck it was called. I'd never heard of that. You know what I mean? I'd never heard of it, but multiple accounts of the dreg pike dating back hundreds of years in the very area where I'm from, and I've literally never heard of that before. So here we go. But I'd never heard of the giant again till my expert and her dad mentioned a giant in St. Bees, and a giant shield and a sword primarily is what was mentioned. Um, so again, the rumor was out there, and the rumor was sort of known locally by someone. And then these guys here who are not from the area have done a bit of digging here and found a 13 foot 6 inch giant, and there is this tale of a giant SMPs, so it all kind of links together. So amazing, really. I mean, fascinating to me because I'm from the area. Do you know what I mean? And I'd sort of heard this rumor in history of this giant, and then I've come across this video, and here we have a 13 foot 6 inch giant reported, which is a definite giant.
And all kinds of statistics, and we're to take to heart all this, all the stats that are laid out about boundary markers and everything. But I guess we're not supposed to believe the standard measurements that were given by anthropologists of the time, scientists of the time, doctors of the time, and that.
Yeah, like again, could people not count back in the day? And that's bullshit as well, do you know what I mean? People are well aware of what they were seeing and well aware of what they were measuring and how to measure things. Like, again, if you're using the standard unit of measurement at the time, and we're aware of that standard unit of measurement at the time, be it modern times in centimeters and inches, or be it ancient times in cubits. If we're aware of what a cubit is, or a centimeter is, or a meter is, then we're very, very capable of understanding what the size of something was. And these people in history weren't stupid. I mean, some people were. There will have been stupid people, but there was also very, very intelligent people as well. It's a mixed bag, very much like today's. Do you know what I mean? We've got fucking stupid people now. I mean, you watch all these Americans and the EBT crisis and everything, and how fucking some dumb of all them people were, you know what I mean? Like, we have very fucking stupid people now, and I'm sure they did then, but they had clever people as well. And generally, the clever people were the people you employed to do the fucking stuff that you needed clever people to do. So, I don't believe for a second that the people were fucking stupid in history. But again, there was stupid people in history, but there's very much stupid people now. So that was just the crack, really. That's kind of the. I'll just play the very, very end of it.
That's the thing that draws us into the mystery, is like, how can so many people with common sense, trained in the art of observation, cannot measure these things that are known to the common populace, like a massive jar of femur?
Yeah, exactly. Like again, it doesn't make any sense really that these people didn't know what they were doing when they were measuring something. Again, the guy was a farmer apparently who dug it up, so he had a general concept of knowing how to farm and irrigate and fucking, you know what I mean, when to plant seeds and all this sort of crack, which is shows a level of knowledge that you're not fucking stupid. So, and they're working like farm fields and hectares and all this sort of shit, so you maybe have to know a little bit about maths as well, maybe. So, yeah, that's just a wishy-washy story to try and cover up those giants. To be honest, that's the reasoning behind it. Like, history doesn't like to admit that there was giants, very much so. But when you really start looking into it, the giants are everywhere. You know what I mean? The fact that they've covered this up, they've done fucking brilliantly. But it's very easy to do at the same time. All you do is control the school system and never mention the fucking giants and take the giants out of the Bible. I mean, they haven't at the same time. They've took out the Nephilim and everything that really went on before the flood. But the giants are still very much in the Bible, with Goliath and the Raphaim and then the Anakim. They're all still in, and in the times after the flood. And so the Bible's the giants are still very much in the Bible, but they're not there in genealogical order from the Nephilim down to the Raphaim and the Anakim in the later years of the giants, or the middle years of the giants, if you want. There's no like genealogical or historical sort of record. Kind of is in the Book of Enoch and the Book of Giants, but they've been removed from the Bible, so the Bible kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't tell you the full tale in the Bible. That's the beauty of it. It's not the tale. There's a massive section of this tale missing out of the Bible, which kind of makes it make a lot more sense as well. And then you've got the proof of it sort of in modern times. There's all these historical records of giants, and these are probably the people that built this. A lot of these structures that we struggle to fathom how they built it. Well, they had giants, and from the Nephilim down, who were being taught things by the Watchers, they were very intelligent. The first race and the first generations were very intelligent. They maybe got dumber as time went down, but again, it could have just been a mixed bag. There were maybe some dumb ones, just like there's some dumb humans. There's some very clever humans. It could have been the same crack for the giants. Do you know what I mean? The kind of humans, but just bigger. So that was kind of the crack. The Sempie's giant, apparently 13 foot 6 inches, which is fucking an actual giant, double the size of any normal man. I just found it very interesting. And again, we sort of mentioned the Sempie's giant, or I have before, but no real knowledge on it. So there was just a little bit of information on the Sempie's giant, Cumbria. So there we go. Peace.